Hey everyone, it's Dave here. Welcome back to the Old Dirty Basement Podcast. Got some exciting news to share with you all today.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. We are thrilled to introduce a brand new feature to our podcast, Fan Mail. You can now send your letters, questions, and stories, and we'll read them right here on our show.
Absolutely, Matt. This is your chance to be part of the podcast. We want to hear everything you have to say, whether it's fun facts, fan theories, or just a shout out. Send it our way. Zap, you want to tell them how they can send us fan mail?
Absolutely, Dave. All you need to do is go to our episode descriptions and click the fan mail link to send us a text. It's super easy to use. Don't worry, your phone number won't be shared. Everything we see is confidential. It's just between us. Remember, folks, this podcast is for you, and we want you to be a part of it. So don't hesitate. Send in your fan mail today. We might just read your letter in our next episode. All right, that's our exciting news for today. Can't wait to get your fan mail. And as always, I'm Zap.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave, signing off from the Old Dirty Basement Podcast. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Vintage Cinema Review. On this week's episode, we're covering from 1989, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Ah, indeed. The movie where, despite a future that had already come to be, it took time traveling to make it happen.
Oh, this is a timeless film. It combines humor, history, friendship. It's much like our podcast.
Yeah, for sure. We hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, leave that 5-star rating on Spotify, on Apple. Leave us a written review and a 5-star rating. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review.
Where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden. And be kind. Rewind.
Ooh, what are you loading up, Matt?
What an excellent evening. Got something excellent, I guess I could say twice, in the V.C.R. for us today.
And what might that be, Matt?
I think it is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Man, it's like a Beetlejuice there. You get Matt to say excellent 3 times, it might make the movie good.
Yeah, right.
Which it wasn't, but it was fun.
No, this was certainly a fun movie, certainly. I mean, we'll get into it. This is a classic.
It is a classic. It's a cult classic, but it's one of those ones that I think as you get older, it loses its flavor.
Yes, I was.
A little bit.
It does.
It's so funny because I have that same perspective. I think
for sure.
I didn't know how you guys are going to be on this, but yeah, Bill and Ted came out February 17th, 1989. It was rated PG and an hour and 30 minutes. Do you know this almost had originally over a 2-hour runtime?
I did read that.
Wow.
And I can't imagine.
That was on a fun fact there. Yeah.
But I think that'd be too long. So this was,
You think?
Yeah, it might have been. This was directed by Stephen Herrick, written by Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, and produced by Scott Krupp, Michael S. Murphy, and Joel Sison. Budget on this, $10 million. Box office, $40.5 million.
Nice.
Ching, ching, ching,
Hey,
ching.
look, man, that's a 400% return. I'll take it.
Yeah,
That's a good time.
Yeah, it was good enough to make a sequel, I guess.
Hell yeah.
We don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, right. I know. You know what? I haven't seen it.
Either have I.
So
I seen that they had it like when I was watching this again, and I was like, I didn't even know they had a second one.
Well, no, they had Bogus Journey, and then I think one came out in 2020.
It did.
Well, there's 3 of them?
Yeah, they recently came out when it's, and you're right, it's not but at most 2 years old. And these guys are aged, and yet somehow, some way, they were able to reprise the role. This is again like the most important would be Keanu Reeves, who after The Matrix and the John Wickses and the whatever came back to do Ted.
God bless him.
Well, he's awesome. I love Keanu Reeves,
Sure.
and I'm not shocked that he would do that. He just seems like he's probably one of my favorite
Ever since
actors.
ever since Speed, like the whole action hero thing for Keanu, the John Wick thing in general, plus the Matrix is outstanding.
He does that cool move now that I see guys do when they get pictures with girls. They hover their hand behind them. You know what I'm
so you
saying?
don't get a charge.
Like instead of putting it around their waist, or like you'll see the hand hovering. Like he won't literally hug them.
No touching.
Yes, because
It's usually nerdy dudes with hot girls. Like they don't know how to hold their hands. So
I think
they do like a thing like that.
I think this is just more like I don't want to get in trouble here, or like a
What a smart man.
Yeah,
It is. But I remember ulterior motives back in high school. Like somebody was taking a picture or you wanted to pretend. So you would stand next to this girl or whatever, and you'd put your arm over her shoulder, but not touch it.
Like,
and it's just hanging out there. Like, dang, man, look at these. What? No, I'm just making it look like that.
No, a hand on the shoulder I think is okay. It's that lower waist hand
Right,
that you can get in trouble for.
It's a danger zone, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's smart about it. And then,
Kenny Loggins.
Yeah. So this movie was filmed in Arizona, and it was, get this, filmed from February 9th to May 4th, 1987. So this movie was shelved for 2 years.
Interesting.
So it wasn't in San Dimas, California.
No.
Alas, no. So this came out in 1989. I know I mentioned it on a podcast when we were doing the Lost Boys with Alex Winters. Alex Winters?
Yeah.
I'm looking right at his name. I'm an ass. I thought that this came out much earlier than 1989. Like even
I did too.
86, 87 maybe, but no. 89. So it goes. 89 dudes.
My guess would have been 87 if somebody would have asked me before going back and watching it.
If it was in 89, why weren't we more into this movie?
I mean, I was at the time.
At
Were
the time,
you?
yeah,
Yes.
for sure. I was a super fan of this. I remember seeing this over the summer, and then I remember that summer being one of those kids that you're just regurgitating the movie. You're saying 69 dudes. You're saying excellent all the time in the accent and whatever.
Yeah, those were the big ones, like the 69 dudes. The San Dimas High School Football Rules was always cool to say.
Rufus.
The like that was always fun.
Yep.
But I don't remember how it became so iconic. Like I don't know if we were in the middle of like it wasn't cool, but it was, or
It was cool for me. I remember that
Okay.
summer going into high school.
Yep.
It was kind of when I remember catching it. Good buddy of mine, Josh. Shout out to Josh. I think he listens from time to time. A lot of good memories of being at his house, watching Bill and Ted down in his basement. He had one of these switch boxes on the wall. They had a cable box upstairs, and I'll never forget, he'd hit the switch, and it would switch the cable box to feed the TV downstairs. So
that's like cars go like this. Back then.
that was
pretty dope.
That was like probably like a Radio Shack product.
Yeah, that's all you need. With the right wires and the right switches, you can make that happen for sure.
Radio Shack.
Yeah, okay.
Remember them?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like not a lot of kids. Like that's where you went for like car stereo stuff. That was a hot spot.
I'm trying to remember their
They
brand.
had one at the mall, remember?
They
The
did.
East Mall had a nice Radio Shack.
So Tandy was their computer stuff, and I forget their like AV stuff. It had a name, I can't remember. But at any rate, good memories of that movie, and that's pretty much it for all that stuff. I hand it over to Zap for the cast.
Cool. All right. The cast of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure includes, but is not limited to, Alex Winter as Bill S. Preston, Esquire, Keanu Reeves as Ted Theodore Logan, George Carlin as Rufus, Terry Camilleri as Napoleon Bonaparte, Dan Shore as Billy the Kid, Tony Steedman as Socrates or Socrates, Rod Loomis as Sigmund Freud, Al Leong as Genghis Khan, Jane Weidlin as Joan of Arc, Robert Barron as Abraham Lincoln, Clifford David as Ludwig van Beethoven, Bernie Casey as Mr. Ryan, that's Bill and Ted's history teacher, Hal Landon Jr. as Captain Logan, which is Ted's father, J. Patrick McNamara as Mr. Preston, who is Bill's father, Amy Stock Poynton as Missy, Bill's stepmother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fraser Bain as Deacon Logan, that's Ted's younger brother. Diane Franklin as Princess Joanna. Kimberly LaBelle as Princess Elizabeth. John Carlson as the Evil Duke. And Clarence Clemens, Martha Davis, and Fee Waybill as the three most important people in the world in the year 2688.
Yeah, so that Clarence Clemens, I didn't realize until looking at the fun facts, is from the E Street Band.
100%.
Yes.
Like forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I should say he was in it forever until he died. He was a founding member.
I think he was like the E Street Band
Yeah.
because he was like so big.
The whole street.
Yes.
And then Jane Weidlin was from the Go-Go's.
Correct.
Yes, and also in Clue. She was the,
The Singing Telegram.
yes.
Indeed. Well, I'll take that a step further. Diane Franklin, who played Princess Joanna, she was Monique, the French girl from Better Off Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
About that.
Yeah, they said, Bill's stepmom gave good Bane.
Is that what they said?
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess that's it for the cast. We'll turn it over to Matt for a brief synopsis.
Yes, a synopsis of the movie Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Bill and Ted have spent so much time forming the rock band, the Wild Stallions, that they're flunking history. Whoa, dude. That's when Ted's dad threatens to send him away to military school. Bill and Ted realize it could mean that the most heinous end of the stallions. Luckily, a guardian angel from the future, Rufus, has come to them with a most bodacious solution. A time-traveling booth that will take them into the past and learn about the world from whom the history's most influential personalities. Their journey through time turns out to be a blast, but will they learn enough to pass their class? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
There you go.
So that Radio Shack brand I was thinking of was Optimus.
Okay.
Like Prime?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I remember now, like they had turntables, they had all kinds of stuff.
They would like upcharge you for batteries there.
Yeah, Enercell. That was their batteries.
Yeah, like could I get like 3 AAAs? And they'd be like, we can give you 27 for $3 more. I was like, okay, that's
Realistic was the other one.
There you go.
Yeah,
Realistic.
Very realistic.
How we miss you, Radio Shack. Farewell.
So that was a great synopsis. I guess we'll steer through this.
I didn't
movie.
write that at all. That was.
Are you
that
sure?
Was, yeah, that was off of the CD.
The DVD.
DVD CD. Yeah.
I too own the DVD. I also own the
have it.
DVD of Bogus Journey.
I haven't seen Bogus Journey, but I like to go back.
I don't think I've seen that.
I am contemplating looking at the new one that just came out, just out of curiosity.
I just want to watch it just to say I watched it, and
Yeah.
look, at least I finished the trilogy. I gave it a shot.
to complete it. Yes.
Are they like in their 30s, late 30s, early 40s on this one, the latest one?
Well, in reality, they're probably in their 50s, but
They look.
maybe in the movie they're supposed to be in their 40s.
It's amazing what hair dye can do.
Yeah. So I guess, Zab, you want to steer us through the movie a little bit?
Sure do. All right. It is the year 2688, and all is right in the world, specifically San Dimas, California. We're introduced to Rufus, who's been tasked with ensuring that the two great ones who'd made it all possible, Bill S. Preston and Ted Theodore Logan, pass their history class. Failing the class would ruin the utopian future. Indeed, if they fail, neither would graduate, and Ted would be forced to go to a military academy, thereby breaking up Bill and Ted's band, Wild Stallions. Rufus's mission will be nothing short of a challenge, as Bill and Ted aren't exactly the brightest bulbs in the box. Their history final is to consider varying historical figures and express, via a live presentation, how those figures would view the world in 1988. The presentation is due tomorrow, and they haven't yet begun their homework.
I wonder with these guys if they had good grades in every other class. It's just funny that it's
just the one. I thought that also.
Yeah.
Man.
And the thing with the 2688 also like made me laugh. I was like, they stretched out on this one.
Yeah, they went way
Because
far.
usually in the future they have the year 2075.
Right. So just in case, music didn't save the world in the next 70 years, they had to stretch it out to 700 years.
Yeah, I was like, wow, 26. Wow, that's a long time.
Now I'm trying to think other than Back to the Future, which from the 80s is probably the greatest time travel movie. This would only be the other one I can think of outside of that. Was there another one that I'm not thinking of? Like that was kind of like a...
I enjoyed The Time Machine, the original one.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that.
Which was a shout out to what, Zap?
Some book?
No. Doctor Who?
No. The Time Machine, the original Time Machine.
Oh, the time. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about their phone booth time traveling.
Oh, that.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So sure. Was it a shout out to Doctor Who, or was it just coincidence?
It's just coincidence, yeah.
Yes.
They didn't even realize it until after. They're like, oh, didn't realize that.
One thing I liked about this, one of many things I liked about this movie, is the soundtrack. There's a lot of great tracks on here, and we see it from the gate. Like the opening song, Breakaway by Big Pig. Mm-hmm. That's a great song, man.
A lot of these names of these bands I didn't know other than Extreme. That's the Extreme.
Sure. Iron Maiden was in it.
Is that Extreme, like Porno, Graffiti, or whatever that album was? It was like More Than Words and all that?
Yes, they sing
okay,
words.
yeah.
Yep.
But other than that, a lot of the bands I wasn't aware of. I heard one of them was one of the Nelson brothers, Gunner, or one of them was in it.
Yes.
I went and listened to some of the tracks, and they sound like good tracks. I just didn't know who the bands were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you guys into the soundtrack when it came out?
So I owned it. I bought it. And still to this day have it on cassette.
Okay.
I played the shit out of it when I was a kid. I loved it. I thought it was just great.
Yeah.
What I didn't get is watching it over again is like the shout outs to like, Van Halen. He wore that 5150 t-shirt.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, I don't know if they were able to show it. I guess do you think they asked Van Halen to be on the soundtrack? And they were kind of like, nah, dude.
There's a fun fact about Van Halen.
We'll get to that then.
There is, in fact, a fun fact about that. But it's getting back to the question of, how stupid were these guys? Like, was it only history they were failing? it's made clearly evident from the gate that these guys are not bright. Like, according to Bill and Ted, and this is according to their teacher, Napoleon was a short, dead dude, and Caesar was a salad dressing dude.
Yeah.
Washington was the dollar bill guy.
Oh, yeah.
So little things, man, little things. I don't know. I mentioned it in the intro, and I'll mention it again. So if you use, let's say, Back to the Future as the basis, right? The thought of time travel that so many people believe and understand, that if you mess up something in the past, you're going to affect the future. That's all fine and dandy. But the whole concept of this movie creates just this huge paradox, this huge, it doesn't make sense. It's quandary. Quite simply, if the future was already great and wonderful thanks to the two great ones, how would they need to go back in time to make sure that they pass the history final? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
It makes no sense.
Well, even the changing of the future, like them being caught in the, what do you say, the parallel universe, like so many times, like however, the stuff that they messed up, it didn't make sense. I didn't like it.
Definitely with this, I guess you got to suspend disbelief. And I did back then for sure. This time around, I was kind of like looking at it like, a couple things that just didn't make sense to me. But a couple things I wrote down from these opening scenes that I kind of noticed was the Panasonic camcorder, that red. I think we all had one similar to that back in the day that they were filming with.
Sure.
And I used to do the same thing when I'd be filming something, and I'd film the TV, and you'd see just layers and layers and layers of like the video, because it just goes on for, you know what I mean? And then also the hot stepmom's Ford, that was like a Mustang.
That was a
It's one of those Fox body Mustangs.
Yep.
Those things are sweet.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if that was a GT or like a 5.0.
I think it was just a regular Mustang. I don't think it was the 5.0.
But that was a nice looking car.
Absolutely.
Back then,
And
still is, but.
Then when they blew up the Fender amps, I'm sure Zap was like,
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot of money.
A lot of money. Those
Yeah.
speakers aren't
money.
cheap. Those
Yeah.
amps aren't cheap. Even though they were, from the looks of it, those were solid state. I mean, that's still not cheap. All right, moving right along. Using a time-traveling phone booth, Rufus arrives in 1988, 700 years in his past, and finds Bill and Ted at the local Circle K, where strange things are afoot. Within minutes, another time-traveling phone booth arrives. Its passengers are mere hours-older duplicate versions of Bill and Ted, who assure present-time Bill and Ted that they can trust Rufus. Present-time Bill and Ted decide to follow Rufus's lead, jump into the phone booth, and go to their first destination, Austria, 1805, where the French, led by Napoleon, have just invaded. An errant explosion thrusts Napoleon into the path of the time machine as it's leaving, thereby sending Napoleon back to present-day 1988, along with Rufus, Bill, and Ted. Napoleon is placed in the care of Ted's little brother, Deacon, and Bill and Ted carry on with their assignment.
Yeah, they said that scene from Napoleon, the war scene, was from a movie in the 50s, War and Peace.
Oh, nice.
That they used stock footage for that.
Of course.
For like the background stuff.
That $10 million only goes so far.
Right. I think they did a good job on this movie with the historical figures, like keeping them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, like the short French guy.
Well, no, I mean, like, there's a couple things in here. Like, as I got older and got more into history, I actually listened to a couple of podcasts recently on like Genghis Khan and Napoleon, and a lot of stuff just that they did a good job on, like, the look and everything else like that.
Did you guys see the new Napoleon movie?
I want to see that one with River Phoenix, or not River Phoenix. Joaquin.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a Ridley Scott, John.
Yeah, that's
I went to start it, but it was like late at night one night. I couldn't get into it right away because I was so tired. But
It takes
I
an
do wanna
effort,
see it.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a shift to watch that movie.
Yes.
And I always love movies where people are out of their time frame. Like, I loved when Marty McFly went back to 1955. You always wonder what you would do in the past, or what somebody from the past would do in the future when you're, around modern conveniences and different things, technology.
Yeah.
So I always like to see that.
I did enjoy Deacon hanging out with Napoleon. That was one of as being older, I enjoyed like the interaction in that
Sure.
part of the movie.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of thought that was neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And then also, when they got into the telephone booth to go back, there was a reference to a Deputy Van Halen when he called he had him call his dad to distract him. Ted's
About
dad.
the keys.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
This was in the beginning. And that's the scene where his dad goes out front and the telephone booth disappears. That was, I think, right after this, like after they set Napoleon down with the little brother.
That's right. So Bill called. So Ted's sitting in there with his dad. His dad says, "I'd like to talk to Ted. Could I talk to you?" And Bill's standing there, alone, please, Bill. So he kicks Bill out of the house. Bill goes outside, goes to the telephone, and calls the chief and says, "Hey, man, hello, Chief Logan?
Yeah.
I got it.
This is Deputy Van Halen. We found your keys, and if you want them, come get them."
He's like, Deputy who?
All right. Despite being able to travel anywhere and to any time, Rufus warns Bill and Ted that the current time, as per the watch on Ted's wrist, is the constant. That constant is the one condition to which Bill and Ted must adhere. They must travel through time, collect and complete their research, and prepare their presentation in the time allotted to them. At this point, they have less than a day to prepare. Rufus departs, a time machine for their use appears, and the research race is on. Again, so this, I wanted to stop that one really quickly as we're going through this. Herein lies, again, another paradox, this doesn't make sense, given our understanding of time travel thanks to Back to the Future. They've got a time machine. They can travel anywhere in time. Why does Ted's wristwatch, how is that a constant? That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's what Rufus said.
Rufus is he's a known liar.
He's a great comedian.
He is a known liar.
And he was playing a joke on them.
So basically what they're saying is if you spend 12 hours in the past, you come back, it's 12 hours later from where you left.
Correct.
But in theory, why couldn't you get in a time machine and go back 12 hours and you're back where
But they did do that at the end of the movie.
They actually did it at the very beginning of the movie. Well, not the very beginning, but when they landed at the Circle K.
Yes.
They were thinking they were supposed to land the next morning, and instead they had landed only in
You
real
dial
time.
one number backwards.
Correct.
Yes.
So that creates another thing. Like I thought you couldn't see yourself or run into yourself in the time travel. I don't know.
The budget was only $10 million.
Yeah, they
could only
weren't
do
they
so
weren't
much.
basing this on like a Back to the Future thinking. This was just a have fun type movie.
Well, it's for sure.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Well, I just had to break for that paradox. In the meantime, Napoleon's return with Bill and Ted gives them the bright idea to travel through time, collect varying historical figures, and bring them to present-day San Dimas, where they will present their thoughts on the present day in their own words, live and in person. Bill and Ted's first stop is New Mexico, 1879. Not Old Mexico, but New Mexico, 1879, where they find and abduct Billy the Kid after saving his life when a high-stakes poker game goes awry. With Billy the Kid in tow, their next stop is Athens, Greece, 410 BC to be exact, where they find and abduct Socrates, or is it Socrates, after some well-played philosophizing. This, of course, is where we hear, "All we are is dust in the wind, dude." And to which Socrates responds, like the sands of the hourglass, so are the days of our lives, which is the opening
The Days of Our Lives.
to Days of Our Lives, the soap
Oh,
opera.
the show.
Yeah.
I didn't catch
Always loved that part. I thought that was a great shout out to Days of Our Lives.
it. Yeah.
I think I was like 12 or 11 when I realized Dust in the Wind.
Dust in the
Like,
wind, dude.
all we are is dust in the wind.
Dust,
It's very,
wind,
it's crazy.
dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these were great. So when they go to the Old West, they to Bill and Ted are walking around. Again, this is just how these guys talk. "How's it going, Old West, dude?"
Yeah. And there's always
It's just like Frontierland.
always in any Old West show, movie, there's always somebody in an outhouse. Every time.
100%.
It's just they gotta like have that in there.
They want to show how hard it was in the Old West.
I guess it's just like something that they just always put in a movie when they reference the Old West. It's like outhouses and saloons.
Saloons, yeah.
Saloons and outhouses.
I got one about the saloon, but in fact, while they're in the saloon, you got to hand it to Billy the Kid's negotiation tactics when he's convincing Bill and Ted to play his card game. He says, "Look, what I win, I keep. What you win, I keep." To which they respond, "Sounds good, Mr. the Kid."
Mr. the Kid.
Yeah. P.S. Why was there, or how was there during the fight scene? How was there a rope hanging in the middle of the bar for that?
Oh, that lady to swing
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Yeah, you wonder.
It's a fun movie.
Tis fun.
Yes.
Tis. As the group has now become 4, their next stop is 15th century England. Bill and Ted become distracted by 2 historical babes, and this distraction almost costs them their lives. Just as we think they're going to be executed, Billy the Kid and Socrates appear, having taken the places of the hooded executioners. The 4 escape just as their time machine is struck by an armored guard who'd been in hot pursuit.
Yeah, I like, and he goes, put him in the Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what a real Iron Maiden looks like?
Sure.
Yeah.
It
With
was
spikes.
yeah.
It's like a
was
spiked
spiky.
coffin, right?
It's a spiked metal coffin. You couldn't have said it better.
But they
Yeah.
slowly like turn it. Like
Yeah.
so it's not completely closed and it keep closing it in on you.
But was that a real thing, or is that?
Yeah, that's a real torture device.
100%
You bleed out
that's a
slowly.
torture
It's
device.
100% real.
So you
Oh,
sit
yeah.
there and live as you bleed out slowly.
Oh, okay, because I thought I read something where they said, like, they think it existed, but there's actually no. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there
I don't
isn't.
know, man. I'm pretty damn sure they existed.
Yeah, I saw. I think
Well, I
that
know
was
the band did,
Yeah,
but,
the whole reason Iron Maiden, I think, had their name Iron Maiden was because of the Iron Maiden.
Right, but there's some brutal like torture tactics back in the day.
Oh my God, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but that one would be really bad.
And how could you torture the Earl of Preston and the Duke of Ted?
Yeah, right.
Right.
What I didn't get about this part is the dude goes down the stairs like because they're dressed as knights.
Right.
He lands on he was in the kitchen somewhere, lands there, and a guy just stabs him because he's dressed as a knight.
Yeah,
I
right.
didn't even know who that guy was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could have been on his team, for Christ's
Yeah,
sake.
I didn't get that part. I didn't get it.
I like when they're like heavy metal. Like, they're in the.
Yes.
There's a lot of like little.
There
I know
is.
my 14-year-old when I was 13, 14, whatever I was when I was, probably laughing at that and just like the silliness.
As being older, I like the I am Luke Bill. That part, I did. I chuckled at that one.
Oh,
that was
God.
good. That was
Luke
good.
Bill.
I am Luke Bill.
These guys were not bright at all. All right, let's see. The group of four unwittingly arrived next in Rufus's time, San Dimas 2688, where air guitar is the universal greeting, and the most excellent music plays constantly for all to hear. The attention and admiration bestowed upon Bill and Ted confuses them. Yet their words of wisdom, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes, inspire all in their presence. Their next stop is Vienna, Austria, 1901, where Sigmund Freud is abducted and added to the throng for extra credit. Next stop, Kassel, Germany, 1810, where they find and abduct Ludwig von Beethoven. Next stop, Orleans, France, 1429, where a devout Joan of Arc is warmly welcomed to the group. Next stop, Outer Mongolia, 1209, where a ravenous Genghis Khan is lured by a Twinkie to join the group. Next stop, Washington, D.C., 1863, where the group abducts an unsuspecting Abraham Lincoln from the White House after he answers a knock at the door by an offer of a candygram. Meanwhile, Deacon and his friends have been tending to Napoleon in Bill and Ted's absence. One of their stops is Ziggy's Ice Cream, where the largest imaginable sundae is shared by Napoleon and his caretakers. Another stop is the local bowling alley, where, after Deacon and his friends ditch Napoleon for being an all-around jerk thus far, Napoleon is ejected from the bowling alley for failing to pay. Body.
Did you think he kind of looked like Steve Perry, the Napoleon dude, in his face? I don't know, something about him.
I didn't see that.
From Journey. I don't know.
I couldn't see it. I mean, maybe the nose is what's throwing you. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Something about his features.
He had
Or-
big eyes.
Yeah.
He definitely had big eyes.
What was Deacon doing at Ziggy Piggy with like the two twins?
I know, right?
Yeah. I was like, Deacon's just there chilling with the twins, eating the Ziggy Piggy. And was he trying to hook Napoleon up?
Maybe.
So, it's like,
Have you guys ever done like an all-you-can-eat thing like that? Like a challenge?
no.
Or like you know what I'm saying?
No.
No?
I've never done that.
There was a sandwich shop or a meat place. I can't remember the name of it, but you had to eat basically this 2-pound sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Where was this?
This was down in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
X number of years ago, maybe a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
I mean, I always see it in movies and they have shows about it. But I'm
Sure.
trying to think anything around here or anywhere that I've been that it's been like, oh, if you eat all this, like your family eats for free, or if you eat all this, you eat for free, or get your picture up on the wall.
I think what made that famous was that
The Great
Man versus
Outdoors.
Food.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Do you remember that
too.
show? Yeah, well, the Great Outdoors, when what is it, Big 96er? Or,
Big
Yeah,
96er.
the Big 96.
But then Man versus Food had all those challenges, and I think people just started coming up with challenges at these
After
restaurants.
that, they're like,
yeah,
oh, let's
just
do
was like,
that.
oh, we have the all-you-can-eat super hot wing challenge.
Yeah.
All that other crap.
I don't know. It just got me thinking about him going to that ice cream. But that's what I like to see. Like, I don't know if they had ice cream back then. I don't know. In his time.
We was in like a Chuck E. Cheese or something. I'm sure they had ice cream
In the
Napoleon's time.
1800s?
I don't know.
I don't know,
They
man.
might have. Well, I think, was there some connection between him and Neapolitan ice cream? I know this sounds crazy,
I
but
wonder.
is that a fun fact?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think that's why they had. I think that's why they had the ice cream there.
That he liked the pink
Yeah, the
vanilla
pink
strawberry.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know.
vanilla strawberry chocolate.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't say that because Neapolitan, Neapolitan. I don't know.
We'll have to look it
Or
up.
no,
Mailbag that.
Still and G was a big Neapolitan fan.
Or use our fan mail link if you know that.
Use the fan mail link.
Go on
We
the-
advertise it, please. Use the fan mail link.
Send it to us. But yeah, I thought there was some cool stuff. There was something cool I noticed in the little brother's bedroom. I wrote down a couple of things. He had one of those electric football games.
Yep.
I think I was in his room. Remember those? You'd put them on, turn on, and they'd vibrate. And
Yeah.
the players would go and stuff.
Just
like
move
that.
around.
Yeah. And that telephone booth, the antenna thing at the top, was that just like an umbrella?
That was the umbrella piece. Yep.
Without the
Fabric.
the fabric on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
That's it.
And then the Circle K. We had no Circle Ks around
7-Elevens are Circle K.
Yeah, so Circle K is the thing. They definitely exist. You'll find them anywhere but Pennsylvania.
So they're Maryland and like around us, but not in PA.
I don't think there's Circle K's in Maryland anymore either, is there?
I don't
You
know.
might find one in Virginia. You might. I think. In fact, I'm almost positive. No, I know for a fact. You'll find one in Reston, Virginia.
Okay.
You'll find them in Texas. You'll find them in California. You'll find them in Nevada. These are just states to which I've been and I've seen Circle K's.
Yeah, for those listening, a Circle K is like a 7-Eleven, a Sheetz.
Like convenience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
convenient.
convenience
Wawa's.
And I believe that was in Army of Darkness, was a Circle K.
Makes sense.
Wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. So part of me in the beginning was like, when I'm watching, it's like, is that like a legit? And I'm like, yeah, because I've seen it in another movie. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about or at least I was earlier talking about the soundtrack. In this segment of the movie, we have listened to two songs that were fantastic. One is In Time by Robbie Robb, which is the song that's playing in the background when Bill and Ted and the group land in the future. And the three most important people in the world and everybody surrounding them is like, they're just awestruck because the two great ones are there. Another one was in the Joan of Arc scene, Two Heads Are Better Than One by Power Tool.
Is that the Nelson band, right? Power Tool.
Was there?
I think it is like Gunner or one of them.
Gunner.
guys.
You might be right. I know that I just remember the lyrics. It was Two Heads Are Better Than One. It's double the pleasure, baby. Triple the fun.
I got to listen to that one.
Good track.
Yeah.
Lyrics were easy to come by back then.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Napoleon the Bowling Alley was quite funny.
Yeah.
The ball sticks to his hand and he just
Right down the
dives.
aisle.
Just dives down the lane.
The cheating part was funny because he understood the numbers. She was all like, wait, these numbers are lower than mine.
He added 100 to his score.
140.
Mhm.
That guy's a good bowler, apparently.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what I love. Like, and that's like on a, bowling and all that. But imagine like Genghis Khan putting an iPhone in his hand. Like here, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
thinking about like it would blow these people's mind. What is this?
Well, 300, 400, 700 years from now, when they listen to this podcast, they're going to be like, what were those guys talking about?
Indeed.
Right. Now, we might be like those three. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're right.
We
Maybe-
could
Maybe we're already in the future,
Yeah.
but yet back in time.
maybe it's our podcast that helps to align the planets and make everything a peaceful place 700 years in the future.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something.
We don't see you sooner or later. Peace.
Yeah.
Bowling scores are up, mini golf scores are down.
Yeah.
That's great.
You never know.
You don't even know.
You don't even know.
All right. Now traveling with a very full phone booth of historical figures, Bill and Ted and the gang stop in 1 million BC San Dimas to determine the extent of the damage inflicted upon the time machine earlier by that English guardsman. They proceed to repair the phone booth's antenna using chewing gum and empty pudding cans.
I like how they were just sitting next to like a stream and they had weird sounds in the background.
Yeah, like you had no idea what
Yeah.
the hell's going on.
Yeah, they were like, we're not spending any money on dinosaurs or anything
No.
here.
No.
We're just going to go with the some sound effects.
They
and-
probably lifted them from, I don't know, from the jungle in Endor
Right.
where the Ewoks were.
It sound like Ewoks.
Yeah,
I could use my drain pipes down here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
precisely.
They go off
precisely.
sometimes. We got to edit it sometimes.
Returning to what they think is present-time San Dimas, they unexpectedly land at the Circle K at the time where they'd first met Rufus. Rufus instructs them how to return to their current time, along with a reminder that they've only got 2 hours left to complete their assignment. Fulfilling the destiny they'd encountered earlier, they, who are now the hours into the future versions of Bill and Ted, convince their hours earlier counterparts to trust Rufus. So this part makes sense. I get this. I totally get the circular time travel on this. Anything else, though, is bullshit.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, this part was legit. And then when it got to like the later part, that made it legit for this part to be legit.
The later, we'll get to the later, and it just loses
much
me.
later.
So the whole thing was Ted forgot to wind his watch.
Oh, okay.
I think that and the -1 or the +1 is what caused them to go funky, or at least it's what told them that they only had a couple hours left versus they had tons of time. Whatever. What are you going to do? Good luck, Bill and Ted.
It worked out, I think.
Did it?
I am Luke Bill.
Returning to Bill's house, In their correct time, they introduce Bill's stepmom to their new friends. That is right. Ow! It's your mom, dude.
Do we explain like the whole first part
with the dad?
With the dad. Oh, that was great.
Here, take a 20.
He's like, your dad's still going to go for it.
Yeah, that was funny. 21-year-old.
But they're all checking her out like the same time.
No, he says, like, remember when she asked me to the prom?
Yeah. Well, you figure she was probably 21, 22.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
They never explain what happened to his actual mom.
No, they don't.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't. In that
It does not.
She's like wearing a leather skirt. The dad's checking her out.
It's so creepy. So their new friends, of course, to protect the innocent, Dave Beethoven, Maxine of Arc, Herman the Kid, Bob Genghis Khan, Socrates Johnson, Dennis Freud, and Abraham Lincoln. In hopes of educating their historical guests on the ways of 1988 San Dimas, the group makes their way to the local mall. Meanwhile, Bill and Ted learn that Deacon had ditched Napoleon. They make their way to Waterloo Water Park to find him there having the time of his life.
Yeah, what was he wearing? Like a
onesie.
You could see through.
It's like he was wearing
man.
But where did he get that?
It
He
wasn't
even
a
had
singlet.
He had like an insignia on it. And
No,
everything.
that was probably his underwear.
Underwear, yeah. So I was thinking too.
Okay. Okay.
Like they used to have back in our day. Well, I'm sorry, not our day per se, but let's say our parents' or grandparents' day. They had one-piece long johns, right?
Yeah.
That you had to step into. It's almost like pajamas, all-day pajamas.
And they had that flap in the back.
Correct.
You could
Yeah,
unbutton
so
it
it's
and
for
take
the
a
dumper.
Take a dump.
Dumper.
Yeah.
Back at the mall, without Bill and Ted as chaperones, all hell breaks loose with the historical group. Socrates, Billy the Kid, and Sigmund Freud try and fail at picking up a couple of local babes in the food court. Genghis Khan finds himself some new weapons at the sporting goods store. Abraham Lincoln's hat and beard are mistaken for props during a photo shoot. Beethoven creates a scene at the music store by going into full concert mode on electronic keyboards, and Joan of Arc overtakes an aerobics class. In the mass pandemonium, all of the historical figures are rounded up by mall security and taken to the local jail, where Ted's dad is the captain of the police.
Yeah, I think of these ones, the only ones you'd have to worry about, I would think, would be Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan. And
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid.
No,
Who was the other one?
He speaks English. He
Speaks English, but he's also running around the mall with a revolver.
Right.
He did take the one shot, and that caused the chaos. But yeah, it would be Genghis.
Yeah.
Genghis.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah, the rest of them were pretty cool. Like
Lincoln would be good.
Yeah,
Joan of
Lincoln's
the Arc.
good.
Joan of
Freud's
Arc.
cool.
Freud, Socrates. I mean, these guys are all kind of
Genghis Unchained.
Genghis Unchained. Yeah. Those are the ones you'd have to worry about, I think. Everybody else would probably be peaceful.
The one part of that stood out to me was the Beethoven scene. I just remember that, like he's just jamming out, and everybody's running around, and Joan of Arc's doing the thing.
I always wonder too, like what he would think of modern music. Like, let's say in the '88, like.
Well, he did. He laughed at that. He thought that was a cool part when the guy hit the the synth, and it made all the synth sound. And,
right.
Look, not for nothing. I gotta believe that he would. Well, two things I'm sure that he would like. One was the montage of Napoleon at the water park, which was played to "The Boys and the Girls Are Doing It" by Vital Signs.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, I've got to believe that Beethoven would appreciate beyond measure my favorite song on this soundtrack, "Play With Me" by Extreme. That the guitar solo that's playing while everybody's running around. So that's Nuno Betancourt from Extreme. Dude,
he can play.
That solo is ridiculous. It is amazing.
Is that the one when they're in the mall?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay, because it kind of sounds like classical almost in the beginning, like real sped up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that was big. I think in the the late '80s. Remember, like Malmsteen and
Wingy.
Yes,
You wing.
Yes, and Steve Vai.
Steve Vai.
Who was the Silver Surfer?
What was big?
Was that Vai?
Joe Satriani.
Joe Satriani.
What are you saying was big?
So Matt is referring to three what we call guitar virtuosos.
Yes.
So these guys aren't guys that necessarily belong in bands. Of course, however, Steve Vai was in Whitesnake for a bit, and he was also with David Lee Roth.
So
was,
guys that are just so good they can just play on their own.
So good that, I mean, these guys playing in a band is silly. It doesn't make sense. Of course, you just watch these guys play and you watch what their hands can do. And I mean, at miraculous, unbelievable speeds and just the movement up and down the neck and crazy stuff that they can do with a guitar. It's like they're dumbing themselves down being in a band.
But it was like that classical guitar brought, like you would hear these guys play stuff. It almost seemed like classical music. They would
like
play so fast. Yes.
Like
yes.
that.
And it just, That's what that reminded me of. And I didn't know that was extreme. Like that was
I didn't know that until I looked up the
fantastic.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
I saw it. Or Dave Mustaine, would you say he's like in that class?
No.
It's completely different.
No,
No.
not even
Okay.
close. Hell, I would say that Eddie Van Halen isn't even in that class.
Not with like
Oh, for real? Not as
No,
technically
no.
good as those guys?
It's a matter of, it's just a matter when you get to that level that they have defined, like they have defined a level of excellence that is so incredibly hard to achieve.
their fingers like are so quick, and their notes that they're playing are, I don't know. It's,
These guys have, of course, progressed in their careers and their music has evolved. Now, when you listen to these guys play or watch them play, they basically have 3 guitars moving, like with the one that's around their neck and 2 that are on stands. They're playing like 2-3 guitars at a time, letting each one reverberate or do whatever. But
a loop.
You're hearing sounds that are not unlike what you would hear in, let's say, 2688 Bill and Ted world here, where it's cosmic. It's very. I keep coming back to cosmic.
Cosmic's good.
This ethereal sound that these guys get out of these guitars while their fingers are just going bananas on. I'll send some links to you guys. Just give it a few seconds apiece, but it's nuts what these guys can do.
Yeah, I'd like to check it out.
That's not to say Nuno Betancourt is in that class.
Right.
No,
Back
but
to extreme, but he's pretty goddamn good.
It was really good. It was cool to hear.
Is it true that Les Claypool tried out for Metallica and they said that he was too good
Yes,
at bass?
I believe I've read that someplace.
that's true.
Okay. Just because you were talking about virtuosos.
That's
and
correct.
stuff.
He did try out for that after Cliff Burton died.
Yes,
And
after
they were
Cliff
like,
Burton died, and they said no because what's his face is so like caught up on himself.
James Hetfield.
Yes.
Or Lars Ulrich.
Okay.
Well, Lars too.
But James, it's basically the James and Lars show. And, Kirk Hammett, thanks for joining. And whomever, Atreyu, what's his name? He used to be the bassist.
Rob Trujillo.
That's
whatever.
it, Rob Trujillo.
Yeah, from Suicidal Tendencies.
Trujillo.
or something.
Trujillo. Yes, he was in Suicidal Tendencies.
But yeah, they were looking at more guys like that. They didn't want another like virtuoso in their band to make everything weird for them.
Okay.
Because Claypool was already really established.
Oh, yeah. I like Primus, so.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last segment. Here we go. All other seniors' history project presentations are now underway, and Bill and Ted are left with everyone stuck in jail, but Napoleon. Bill and Ted hatch a plan, and despite its ridiculousness relative to movie-based common understandings of time travel, they manage to use Ted's dad's keys to release all of the historical figures from jail. Off they all go to the history final. One by one, each of the historical figures do their part to make Bill and Ted's history presentation a rousing success. Lo and behold, Bill and Ted pass the class. Time passes, and we later find Bill and Ted back in the garage, lamenting over their inability to play their instruments well. Rufus arrives with the 2 historical babes in tow and reveals that the 4 of them will go on to make incredible music together, which will become the foundation for all of society. Despite the quartet's combined inability to play their instruments with any semblance of decency, Rufus assures us that they'll get better.
They get better. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that George Carlin, actually, I saw him at the Strand Theater in York. I was lucky enough to see him.
with you.
I, too, saw him at the Strand Theater
Yes.
in York.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Timmy. Yeah.
With Timmy, yeah.
I saw him
Matt.
in York and in New York,
Yeah, maybe you were there too. It was 90, probably 97.
for sure.
96 or 97. Yeah.
For sure.
The Strand.
Wow. Yeah, so that was cool to see him.
His wife died that night.
Was it
That
night?
is correct.
Yes.
That is correct. Yep.
He got called off stage towards the end of the set, and his wife died.
Wow, I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
I just remember going down there and I mean, I knew who he was, obviously from this movie and stuff, but and then later on, I mean, after seeing him and telling my dad like that I went to see George Carlin, he's like, you just got to see George Carlin, like how legendary he was.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah,
Like, the guy was great.
He was great. I enjoyed it. But I thought that was pretty cool to get to see George Carlin and then go back and watch this movie
Sure.
after that, you know what I mean?
Yep. San Dimas High School football rules.
Always a good quote.
Let's see. So now we've entered yet another. This is where it gets ridiculous. The time travel disparities. He steals the keys needed to release the prisoners after the report. Like, this is the thing. So Bill says to Ted, "It's okay. We'll come back and steal the keys. We'll go do the report and we'll come back and steal the keys after the report. Or
Right.
find the keys after the report and we'll leave them for ourselves here."
Where? Behind that sign?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. How could they have done the report if the people are stuck in jail and they get the
Right.
keys after the report to bring it back to get the people out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Well, did they do it at the time where the two Bill and Teds met the two Bill and Teds, or the first time they met Rufus?
There's so many holes in the time travel.
Well, I'm saying that's the only way that it could possibly make sense.
What made me laugh is they took time to spray paint wild stallions on a trash
can that magically appears out of nowhere.
And fell from magically appearing out of nowhere.
And that's where it just gets bananas, where they say, oh, remember a trash can. Bloop, and then there it falls.
They said in a deleted scene, it was a leprechaun that was holding the trash can and dropped it on their head.
Interesting.
Oh, for real?
No, not at all.
Not a bit.
Not a bit real.
Finishing my comments on the soundtrack, the fantastic soundtrack to this film. So the track at the beginning of Bill and Ted's History Final, it's a song called Walk Away by Bricklin. The intro is awesome. The intro is fantastic. The verses are pretty terrible. Like, just they're slow and weak. But the choruses replay the intro. It's just a great chord progression, great note progression. It's good. It's almost like motivating or inspiring. It's quite good.
That's a song during the presentation.
Correct.
Yes.
See, I didn't really like the soundtrack on this one. I didn't know you really had the soundtrack. I like the
you
extreme
hate music,
song.
Matt.
I do. I really do. No, like I wasn't really into the soundtrack. It's just
I wasn't at the
not
time.
one of the better ones for me.
But I wasn't really into that music then. But I went back and listened to. I was doing the movie. I put it up on Spotify and listened. I'm like, oh, these songs are pretty decent. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is a weird time too. This is 89. So this is right before grunge and all that's hitting.
Yep.
So we were rating that the 80s were ending and we're getting into the 90s.
You were just getting into puberty.
Yeah, people were trying to figure out what they enjoyed listening to.
Right,
Voices cracking.
Yeah.
Fun facts. Oh, I guess it's about that time.
Oh, yes, it is. Who's got a fun fact?
So Keanu Reeves was 22 and Alex Winter was 21 when they filmed this.
Okay.
But like we talked about, they had shelved the movie for 2 years. So when they had to go do promotion, Keanu had to wear like a wig. His hair was like cut off then, and they get his look back to when they did stuff like that's what they had said.
Okay.
But, yeah.
They said they did become like really good friends.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes, during the filming of this. I've read that.
Yeah, well, I don't know what, like Alex Winter went on to be, Lost Boys was before this.
Correct, which we established. I was mistaken when I thought that this had come out prior. But
prior to that, yeah.
So it goes.
But I don't know. I'm trying to think what Alex Winter was in after. I know Keanu went on to do a lot of good stuff, obviously.
Keanu had an excellent career.
Yeah.
Keanu, he also has a motorcycle company that does like really, really well. They sell to a lot of like high-end clients.
Oh, really? Keanu?
It's him and one other dude. And like he's pretty. He knows how to like build motorcycles from like the ground up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
He also plays in a band.
Yeah, it's like Star Dog or
Dog
something.
Star.
Dog Star. Yeah.
Dog Star.
Evil dog, or was what was
Evil Dog. Dog Star.
Dog
Isn't
Star.
that from Spaceballs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dog Star. No, that's Lone Star.
Oh,
Damn it.
Close enough. Yeah. Fun fact: Napoleon could have been Hitler.
Yes, I heard about that. It's supposed to be.
They were supposed
Germany.
to. They were supposed to travel back to 1930s or 40s or wherever, Germany, and get Hitler. And for whatever reason, they said, "Well, let's just use Napoleon instead."
Yeah, that might have been the 2 hour. Or you saying they replaced Napoleon with him then?
Though in earlier versions of the script, Napoleon didn't exist. They went back instead of going to Napoleon first, they went to Hitler first, and Napoleon was never in the picture at all.
Oh, I got you.
Somehow, some way, they changed it around and got rid of it. I think it would have been just too difficult to coordinate. Who's to say? I wasn't there. I wasn't filming.
True. Yeah.
They released this movie during President's Day around that weekend.
Try to get the Abe Lincoln fanatics and stuff.
Oh,
try to get like historical people to be like, oh, that sounds fun.
Check it out.
Abe Lincoln fanatics.
Yeah.
I guess they exist.
There is.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
They go down to Gettysburg and so like the
they want to
Civil War
stand where
reenactors
they want to stand where Abe stood.
Mm-hmm. So the characters, they said dude 70 times and excellent 30 times.
Dang.
So if you did a drinking game, you'd probably get pretty wrecked.
You would get pretty wrecked. We were talking about, so you had mentioned that the original run of this movie was close to 2 hours or over 2 hours.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours and 25 minutes or
It was
something.
crazy.
I think. I don't know. It was definitely over 2.
So I don't think it was recorded, but there was a scene that was cut from the script that included Bill and Ted helping when they go back to 1 million BC, they actually helped cavemen discover fire so they could light a joint.
Wow, they cut that out.
Yeah.
I think initially, too, they wanted to film this, or when they were coming up with script ideas, they were going to go back and cause all the disasters throughout history. Like that was going to be their time travel, like the Titanic, anything you can think of through history. It was like their fault. They went back and disrupted it, but they thought that might be a little darker. So they came up with this whole idea.
That sounds dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a Doctor Who film series or TV series, and the phone booth from Bill and Ted was used in a couple episodes of Doctor Who.
Oh, for real?
Wait,
series.
really?
Yes.
So the red phone booth was used with the blue TARDIS.
Yes.
Really?
How about that?
Yes, it's a fun fact.
That's
If you look up fun factuals, I think it's out of 45 fun facts. Of Bill
Holy,
and Ted's.
that's amazeballs.
Adventure.
I had no idea. I got to look that up. I
Yes.
just want to watch the episodes.
My second vehicle is a TARDIS.
Nice.
Yes.
There also was a an animated series
Correct.
and a live action series, and I don't remember either of them.
I'm sure Zab remembers.
I remember the
Yeah,
cartoon.
yeah.
I don't remember the live action, but I remember the cartoon. It was a short-lived. It was one season.
That was it.
Yep.
Okay.
Fun fact, Ted could have been, now this is Keanu Reeves, could have been Pauly Shore or Gary Riley.
Who's that?
Gary Riley he played Dave of Chainsaw and Dave fame in
yes.
Summer School.
I love that movie.
Yep.
Do the dance for me, baby, and Leatherface is. Yeah, I love that.
That's right.
I'd love to do that one, but
So,
I want to
yes.
stick to this fan list.
Yeah, the filmmakers originally wanted Steve Vai to play the role of guitar playing Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Stevie Vai. That would have been a good get.
Heck yeah.
So the original script had this as a '69 Chevy van for the time machine, and then they changed it to the phone booth because they thought it was too close to like a DeLorean. They didn't
Wasn't
wanna-
that the original movie? It was like the something van,
Yeah, I think the name of it was also
something with a
different.
van in it.
Yeah,
Maybe.
like two guys in a time-traveling van.
Maybe it was something like that.
It was something like that. And since the DeLorean had stolen the Thunder for having a four-wheeled vehicle as the time machine, they said, okay, we're going to ditch the idea of the van. We're going to do something else. Fun fact, Bill could have been, now this is Alex Winter's character, could have been, again, Gary Riley, the blonde Dave from Summer School, River Phoenix, Sean Penn, or Brendan Fraser.
Oh, Encino Man.
Encino Man.
He won an Academy Award for playing that big fat guy.
I want to see that.
The Whale
I
is a
wanna
pretty
see
good
that
movie.
movie,
It's
yeah.
pretty decent.
The Whale.
The Whale.
I got some.
He plays a big fat guy.
I got some coulda wouldas. For the part of Rufus.
Correct. What do you got?
I got Ringo Starr,
Yep.
Roger Daltrey.
Yep.
Sean,
Wait, I thought that was Ringo Starr.
yeah, it looked like him. Roger Daltrey, Sean Connery, and Charlie Sheen.
Oh, there was
Roger
one,
Daltrey is from.
The Who.
That's the
Yes.
lead singer, or
Yep.
whatever. Okay.
He plays a mean pinball.
He does. Now there was Charlie Sheen. Just throw that one away. That doesn't make sense.
Nah,
But there was.
I would like to see. Who was that?
It wasn't me.
I don't think maybe it was me. I don't know.
There was one more that didn't.
That's excellent,
Like
Bill and
Katy
Ted.
Perry.
Did,
Roar.
I'm not sure if you're cutting that or not.
What, Katy Perry?
No, the Predator sound that came out of somebody's throat.
Yeah. Should leave that in there.
Why not? Fuck it.
No, that was good. That was good.
So, in addition to everyone you just mentioned, again, Charlie Sheen should have been thrown away. So you had Ringo Starr, Roger Daltrey, Sean Connery, Charlie Sheen. There was one more.
Who was it, Chap?
Eddie Van Halen.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was the first thought out of the director's mind. He wanted to get Eddie Van Halen, but he was too expensive.
Eddie.
I think Eddie. You're right. I did hear about that, and I think he said after this was that he would have done it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Why didn't they just
but-
ask Alex?
His agent just came
Yeah.
up with a price that was just too much, so they said, "Okay."
Oh, so okay, it was the money.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, Van Halen was making coin back then, man.
Sure. Well, so
Yeah,
this was already Van Hagar at the time, even 87. So, yeah, they were 5150 had come out. They were riding high.
Yes, they were.
So in the original script, one of the historical figures was Babe Ruth.
Yep.
That would have been cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have other ones or
I'm all fun fact out.
Yeah,
in fact,
Babe Ruth. That would have been played by the guy
John Goodman.
John Goodman.
Yeah,
Yes.
he could have played because he
The
did
Whale.
the movie. Yeah.
Yep.
The different years this takes place: 2688, 1988, 1805, 1879, 410 BC, the 1400s, 1901, 1810, 1429, 1209, 1863, and 1
billion.
Yeah,
1 million.
1 million BC.
1 million.
Yeah.
Billion with a B.
Yeah, like Matt referenced the T-shirt. It was from the "Why Can't This Be Love" tour, the single. That was from the tour, the 5150 tour.
I never liked Hagar, man.
No,
No.
You're a racist.
I like.
How could you hate Van Hagar?
Tell me why can't
You didn't like that song?
No.
I wasn't even in there, and I like that
And
song.
then Can You Take Me, was it Higher? Oh,
no, that wasn't him, was it?
Yeah.
You Take Me Higher.
The name of the song is Higher.
I thought that was
Yes.
Damn Yankees or something.
No, Can You Take Me Higher was Damn Yankees.
Okay.
Higher is, that was Van Hagar.
Yeah. I have to look for this in the 4K version of the film. They say the great ones are hovering above a miniature Circle K store.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I didn't notice that, but I have
never
the
noticed
DVD.
that.
So it's like grainy, you know what I mean? Like I talked about the War and Peace in the background. That was from 1956. That's in the Napoleon scene. And you would think fitting 9 people in a phone booth would be impossible. Do you know what the world record is?
37.
I'm guessing more than 9.
Yes. 25.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
That'd be
They
cool to
did it.
see, though. I think they hold that event like every year in England or something, don't they?
Did they do that?
Yeah.
And they might. I don't know. But
I read something about it in like Smithsonian. I think there's like a yearly event in England that they try like to fit as many people as they can in a phone booth.
yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, like for the historical side, but it's not as good as it was when I was like younger, for
Agreed.
sure.
Agreed.
Historical side, like this is where you're getting your facts.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like I'm into the history part of things
Oh, okay,
now. Like
gotcha.
I would have been more into like, oh, that's Genghis Khan. Let's say I just listened to a podcast about Genghis Khan, which a couple months ago, and there was a cool story in the podcast I listened to about it. This Persian, he was a messenger for a Persian king. This is during the time of Genghis Khan and the Mongols.
Yep.
And he sent them to, it was like, at the time, modern day China, but it was like the Jing dynasty, it was called.
Sure.
There was a city right on the water. And he said, this Persian messenger, he said, go check out, see what's going on in this city, like what's going on there, and write about it and bring it back and let us know what's going on. So he sent him there, and this guy wrote in his journal, as they're coming up on the shore, he saw snow-capped mountains. And he was like, wow, like snow-capped mountains here at this city. They get closer, he gets up and starts walking towards this mountain. The ground's real like
Wet,
swampy and
sloppy.
wet and all that. And as they get closer, he realizes that's not snow, it's bones. So Genghis Khan went and wiped out the entire city and piled the bones, and all the muck that he was walking in was the fluids from the bodies.
Nice.
So he went back and was like,
Wouldn't you be able to smell that like
well,
pre-walk?
he did as he was
Oh,
walking. He could
okay.
smell, and he was stepping. He's like, it's a horrible smell. As he got closer, he noticed that's not snow, that's bones.
That's amazing.
So that was Genghis Khan. They went in, and 50,000 people in the city wiped them all out.
Good for Genghis or
Yeah.
Genghis.
Yeah.
Genghis,
Genghis.
he seemed ruthless. Like he would like eat turkey legs and just make out with chicks.
He was
Like, in
wild.
this movie.
But
It's crazy.
But yeah, back when I saw this movie, I didn't know who Genghis Khan was or Genghis Khan. But
really?
He's a sucker
I mean,
for a Twinkie.
I
Oh.
heard the name, but I didn't know anything really
Okay.
about him. So that's like that type stuff. And I mean, the other figures are pretty well known. But yeah, I thought that was a wild story. But at any rate, as an adult, this movie didn't hit. So like, I guess it's a time where we'll get into our
Yep.
late fee, return, or burn.
Yep.
For me, back then, I'm late feeing it because I loved it. Now I'm probably just going to return it. You know, I don't even know. I might even burn this one. I don't know.
I never burned.
No, I mean, it was like,
It was,
I watched
it was a tough watch.
It was
in
hard to
your-
get through.
In older age, it's a tough watch.
It didn't have that. I mean, it's silly. It's a silly movie, but it's not.
It
you
is.
know.
This reminds me of this. I think was one of the last. This was the sign that the silliness of 80s movies was on its way out. Like there was sillies galore. There was the Three Amigos. There was even Ghostbusters
Whoa!
was considered.
Don't put this
silly.
in with the Three Amigos.
I'm saying just
Okay.
it's so far as
Whoa.
just making a silly movie.
Mm-hmm.
This was just this to me was the last bastion of 80s silly movies.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I don't know. I think I would have returned it, and I would return it now. I'm not going to burn it, but I'm not going to late fee it.
I agree.
No,
I agree
no.
with Zap. I'd return it. Even like I said, I don't really remember how you guys are remembering this from being young. I don't really. I remember the slogans, the phrases, but I don't really remember like watching this movie being like, "Oh, that was great!" Like Bill and Ted are cool.
This is one, like I said, that summer, I just remember watching it
Yep.
over and over and over
Absolutely.
again. And it was
Same.
you know,
Same.
much like Die Hard.
Was there any like Bill and Ted's like T-shirts out or anything? Was there
Sure.
anything? Was there? Okay.
Sure, there was, but yeah, I mean, it was like I said, it was definitely for me 8th grade going into 9th. Which when I looked at the release date, that makes sense. If it's February, this probably hit like HBO and all that, and video rental probably by that summer,
Mhm.
and that would have been the time that I would have been watching this. And I remember my buddy Josh, we'd watch it over and over again.
Oh, okay. I wasn't into
No,
that
you're
much.
off, Dave. You were 7th going into 8th.
Yeah, this was '89, February '89. So Oh, you're right. 7th going into 8th.
Because
Okay.
90, 91.
So 89,
yeah.
90, 90. You're right. Okay. So that makes sense then. For some reason, I was thinking that. Yeah, you're right, though.
I just remember people wearing like Looney Tunes stuff where they're like rappers.
Yeah, that
time.
was like a little bit later 90s.
Was that 88, 89?
Now, Dave, not to take away from that, because every summer that for the last few years, let's call it from middle school, what some people call middle school on, but for like 5th through 8th grade, all of those summers were the same. I mean,
Yeah.
that summer didn't hit really until going into 9th grade, at least for you two, when you had, double days or triple days for freshman football.
Well, that summer would have been Blind Ambition. 8th going into 9th. Matt and I met at Hershey Park. We went. Remember those girls?
Yeah,
they
the Blonde
were going
Ambition
to the Madonna Blonde Ambition tour. They had the T-shirts on.
Nice.
So yeah, you're right. That would have been a year earlier. So I was even younger then.
There you go.
Yeah, 13 probably. So
I remember a friend of mine went to Hershey Park, I think 8th going into 9th grade, and we met. There were these 2 girls like hanging out. We saw them on like those little. We would go on those little kiss rides and look down, and so you would see, and they go, "Hey, wait there."
Right.
And we called her, like, the one girl, we called her Asian Persuasion, and the other girl we called her Big Booty Assassin.
That's funny.
I remember 8th grade. Good. Yeah, they were nice. They were really nice girls.
Good times. So yeah, we'll be back. Our next Vintage Cinema review. We're gonna go back to the list, and we all agreed, right? You guys cool with that?
Sure did.
Yes, we do.
So it looks like the next one up is gonna be War Games. Yeah. Now, Matt, were you a PC guy back then?
Politically correct. Yes, I was.
The PC guy.
That's been PC his whole.
Right.
That was
My
PC
whole
before there
career,
was PC.
yes.
Right. So we'll have to pick your brain on that stuff.
No, I do.
80s
The
PCs and all
PC
that.
guys, yeah, would be like, I remember going over to the Colonel's house, and he was like the first kid I knew that had a computer that would have these crazy games on it. And I know Zap over there would come. They would play these games. But this is the most coolest thing I've ever seen.
Right. I'm sure Sturker 64 will come up.
Oh,
No.
it could. It could. We'll see.
Yeah, so tune in for that. We'll be back with that, and then obviously a true crime in between. And let us know how you're liking the show. We have that new fan mail. Hit that up. Don't forget to find our socials, Old Dirty Basement on Instagram and Facebook. That's OL', like Zap says. And on TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. And you guys got anything else?
That's it.
No, that was fun.
I guess that's it for now, so we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for listening to the Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.